Hello everyone and welcome to our Balcony Garden channel. We are back with another episode, and not only that, today we are going to talk something interesting about Monstera, a very famous house plant. Did you know that Monstera is mainly famous for their natural leaf hole, and they also have a very nice nickname called Swiss cheese plant because they just look like an amazing cheese. There is also something interesting about Monstera. There are actually two kinds. One is DELICIOSA and one is adansonii. Adansonii is generally, the leaves are very small and the hole patches are very small. But Monstera DELICIOSA is actually a very big leaf and the holes are more like a cheese. Let me share three important and interesting facts about Monstera DELICIOSA. The first one is that it comes from an Aroid family, and you know the best part about it? I think most of us don't know. That is, it produces edible fruits and also it rarely flowers. The third most interesting fact about Monstera DELICIOSA is, where was it founded? People do come and ask me that how come it became such a famous house plant. But let me tell you, it was found in the botanical world in Central America in 20th century. But Indians also have the kind of propagation which you find in the cold regions like Chikmagalur, Madikeri, or places like Ooty, which is generally known as a creeper, but as a house plant, it became famous in Central America. Well, now you have heard about the interesting facts. I'll be sharing some general cares with you how to take care of your Monstera house plants, especially DELICIOSA. The first general care is about the sunlight. So many customers or people do come and ask me, where should I keep this plant? Let me tell you an easy way. It needs a bright but a very indirect sunlight. The minute you give more amount of sunlight, the leaves will start burning. Let me talk about the second general care, that is water, which is mainly very important. When you're watering Monstera, make sure that you water in the time frame of 1 to 2 weeks, not daily watering. Some people even do have confusion when we say that water anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks. But let me make it more easier. You can always do a dry patch test in the soil. If you feel that the soil is too dry, that is when you have to water it next time. Now also in watering, let me share you one more interesting general care. When it is brighter indirect sunlight, make sure that you water in a very high process, like maybe 1 week, immediately the next week. But when it comes to indirect and lower sunlight, you can actually change the moderation. Now let's talk about the next general care, that is the humidity. Well, humidity is required only up to the normal room temperature, and also when it is a general care, it also comes about temperature. Temperature is generally about 50 degrees Celsius. It could not go below that, but it should be somewhere between 18 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. Well, now you have understood the general care of Monstera DELICIOSA, but let's talk about the common problems that you face. Well, I'm going to talk about the three major problems that you face. The first common problem is leaves turning brown and being little crisp at the edges. The main reason for that is maybe your soil is underwatered, and also there would be a cause of rotting. So make sure you always loosen the soil for this kind of symptom that you see. The second most general problems that people come and do ask me that why the leaves are wilting out and why they are a little dried out. It's mainly because of underwater, and second thing is pot bound. Now you would ask me what pot bound is. Well, pot bound is nothing but a constrained size of pot given to the house plant. The roots getting tightened up in the particular pot. This is the major problem in the house plant. Well, it's not only in Monstera, but in most of the plants you will find this issue. So make sure whenever you see wilting of leaves, just change the pot or maybe change little bit of soil or just loosen up the soil. Well, let me talk about the third major problem. Most of the customers who take Monstera, they do ask me that why their leaves are turning yellow. Well, you have been overwatering it. So water it little less and moderately, and make sure till the soil dries out completely, then is something that you have to water. Now I'm going to talk about the two major precautions. The first thing is the fruits of Monstera DELICIOSA is actually edible. And the second most important thing is that keep it away from your children or cats or dogs, because chewing the foliage is not something recommended. Well, people do come and ask me how to propagate Monstera because it's a little unique kind of plant and you don't get it often. But let me share a small trick with you. Whenever you see your plant growing, make sure that the roots are rooted up, and the minute you see a root coming out, just cut and place it to any of your compost soil bins. Now let me be more greedy and share you the second most amazing trick to propagate houseplant. If you have honey at home, take a glass of honey, dip the root and then soil it back. The propagation is much faster than the normal process. Now we have known much about Monstera delicosa, but if you have any question, you can always write down below the comments. Also follow us on Instagram at OurBalconyGarden and you can DM us with your questions and we will answer you. Well, today's episode was about Monstera delicosa. To know more about such plants, house plants, indoor or outdoor plants, don't forget to subscribe at Our Balcony Garden channel.